Hello, everyone. If you remember, we did the first part of passive voice last week with the A. Now, I'm going to present the second part of the passive voice. In the previous video, I emphasized how the passive sentence is built. Have a look at the first note. We make the passive with the correct tense and form of the verb be and the past participle of the verb 3, it means to say. You will remember this form. In the present simple, be, is, am, is, or are. In the present continuous, it is, am being, is being, or are being. In the past simple, it is, was, or were. And in the past continuous, it is, was being, or were being. In the present perfect, be is, have, or has been. In the past perfect, it is, had been. And with the modals, with any modal, you use can, may, should, or anything else, and plus be. Have a look at the examples given here, actually. It says in the first one, the guests have eaten all the food. Have eaten all the food. It is present perfect. And how do we make a present perfect active into passive? By using have, has been, verb 3. So, all the food has been eaten by the guests. They had robbed the bank before the police noticed it. And the past perfect passive is had been, verb 3. So, the bank had been robbed before the police noticed it. And the final example says, they will complete the new stadium next year. It is a future passive, so we need to use will be, verb 3. The new stadium will be completed next year. The second note, if you remember, we used the preposition by to introduce the agent, namely the personal thing which does the action. We use the agent when it is a name, like in the example here. The new hospital was opened by Mr. Erdogan before the coronavirus outbreak. Mr. Erdogan is a name here. We use the agent when it gives important information, such as here, this hospital was opened by the president. So it gives an important piece of information by the president. The school windows were broken by the boy with the long hair, by the boy with the long hair. And here, when the agent is a heavily modified noun group or a long sentence or phrase, we again use by. Or, we use the agent when it is non-living, like in the example given here in D. More than 500 people are killed by the coronavirus every day. Now, there is the first exercise for you just to remember whether you have studied it or learned it correctly. Rewrite the passive sentence correctly, keeping in mind how the passive is formed. Also, use agent where necessary. So, the school principal is going to meet the professors at the train station at 10:30 tomorrow. Who is the school principal going to meet at the train station at 10:30 tomorrow? Of course, the professors. So we make the professors the goal of our sentence by putting it at the very beginning of the sentence. The professors are going to be met at the train station, pardon, the professors are going to be met by the school principal at the train station at 10:30 tomorrow. The second one says, the wind has damaged 4 of the windows terribly. 4 of the windows terribly. So 4 of the windows have been damaged terribly by the wind. Have a look at the key here. The professors will be met by the school principal at the train station tomorrow. And the second one says 4 of the windows have been damaged terribly by the window. The third one says, do you think the same team will win the Champions League again next year? So the object is the Champions League. Do you think the Champions League will be won by the same team next year? And here, people have found a store of hidden Ottoman treasure. A store of hidden Ottoman treasure on a building site. So this is going to be the goal of our sentence. A store of hidden Ottoman treasure has been found on a building site. Louis Braille invented a reading system for the blind. So a reading system was invented for the blind by Louis Braille. This is interesting as a sentence. A group of doctors at Hacettepe University have just done some very interesting research on the coronavirus, okay? Some very interesting research. Some very interesting research has just been done by a group of doctors at Hacettepe University on the coronavirus, we can say. We can check, the answers here, okay? Now, people, we need to deal with passive causative, okay? This is, again, passive, but it is slightly different from the first form of the passive, okay? Structurally, have or get is used according to the tense needed. The main verb is always used in the past participle form, like the passive we have just studied. There is an example here, actually, okay? She's having a pizza delivered to her house at the moment. Or I get my eyes tested twice a year. My father had his house painted blue last summer. Be careful. The tense of the sentence is determined here. Is having is present continuous. Get is present simple. My father had is past simple. My father had his house painted blue last summer. Or we will get our photo taken soon. We will get, it is simple future. Or I have just had my 2 teeth pulled out. Can you see it? Have had. It is present perfect tense. Okay? We use passive causative to talk about actions which we don't do ourselves. Somebody or something does them for us. We often pay them to do this action. We don't do it ourselves. Can you just have a look at the given exercises and examples? I get my eyes tested twice a year. Means I don't test my eyes myself. I pay opticians to do this for me. And also, we use passive causative sometimes when things happen accidentally. They are also expressed in this way. Like last Saturday, while Ali was playing football, he had his left foot broken. This happened accidentally. Of course, he didn't pay anyone to break his left foot. We can use the preposition by in this form as well to introduce the agent. Okay? I have just had my hair dyed blue by a hairstylist, for example. Now it is time to have a look at the exercises. The second exercise says, complete the second sentence using the correct form of have or get something done. So the first one, she didn't decorate the house herself. She didn't decorate the house herself. And it is a past tense verb. She had the house decorated by professionals. He won't fix the car because he will have his car fixed at a garage. My wife doesn't do her own hair. She has her hair done at the hairdresser's. We didn't paint our room ourselves. We had our room painted. We had our room painted. They didn't build the garage themselves. They had the garage built by an expert. He hasn't translated this document himself. He has had this document translated at a translation office. They aren't testing their son's eyes themselves at the moment. They are having his eyes tested by an optician they trust a lot. Can you see the key here? She didn't decorate the house herself. She had it decorated by professionals. He won't fix the car. He will have it fixed at a garage. My wife doesn't do her own hair. She has it done at the hairdresser's. We didn't paint our room ourselves. We had it painted. They didn't build the garage themselves. They had it built by an expert. He hasn't translated this document himself. He has had it translated at a translation office. They aren't testing their son's eyes themselves at the moment. They are having them tested by an optician they trust a lot. There is another exercise, and this time you are asked to give full answers to the questions here. And the first one says to you, asks you actually, how often do you usually get your hair cut? Just try to answer it. Later on, you will have the key in front of you on the screen. Can you fix your computer yourself? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had your wallet or purse stolen? Mm-hmm. When was the last time you had your eyes checked? Do you remember it? Mm-hmm. Do you like having your photos taken? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any clothes made for yourself? And here are my answers. I usually get it cut once in 3 weeks. Once in 3 weeks. I usually get my hair cut once in 3 years. 3 weeks, I'm sorry. Can you fix your computer yourself? No, I can't. I always get it fixed by a computer technician. Have you ever had your wallet or purse stolen? Yes, I have, unfortunately. I had it stolen in Rome while I was walking around admiring the beauty of the city. When was the last time you had your eyes checked? I believe the last time I had my eyes tested was some 3 months ago. Do you like having your photos taken? No, I don't like having my photos taken because I feel so disturbed when someone takes my photos. Have you ever had any clothes made for yourself? Yes, I have, but it was many years ago. There is another one. Fill in the blanks with the correct information using the passive causative structure. I'll get your answers later on. So, yesterday, while I was driving home from work, my car broke down. As a result, I had to call a car mechanic to repair it. In the end, I had my car repaired by the mechanic in no time. Yes, there is a leak in my bath. I can't fix it myself. Watch out. I will have it fixed by a plumber tomorrow. As tomorrow is my wife's birthday, I wanted to surprise her with something she loves. So I have just had a wonderful black dress made for her. I believe she will love it more than anything. I very much want to have a suit made for myself for my graduation ball. I want to look gorgeous. Shall we see the answers once more? Typed, written, I mean to say. Yes. Yesterday, while I was driving home from work, my car broke down. As a result, I had to call a car mechanic to repair it. In the end, I had my car repaired by the mechanic in no time. There is a leak in my bath and I can't fix it myself, but I will have it fixed by a plumber tomorrow. As tomorrow is my wife's birthday, I wanted to surprise her with something she loves. So I've just had a wonderful black dress made for her. I believe she will love it more than anything. And finally, I very much want to have a suit made for myself for my graduation ball because I want to look gorgeous. Thanks a lot for listening to me, folks. See you later on.